I've been doing this for a very long time. Sometimes the unspeakable turns out to be the truth.
Aside from providing viewers with some of the most complex crimes that have occurred in New York City, the police procedural legal drama series Law Order Special Victims Unit, known as SVU, gave birth to the longest slow burn love story of Olivia Benson and Elliot Stabler. The complicated relationship that they have had as colleagues, partners, and best friends left loyal fans wondering if they would ever receive an answer to the will they or won't they question the series writers hinted at for decades. Even after one of them left and then returned to headline a new spin-off series, fans never gave up, as the two still shared the same Law & Order expanded universe and would often do crossovers between their TV shows. SVU has been the most successful spin-off drama show from the franchise series Law & Order, aired on the NBC network. While the original series tackled crime in general, SVU focused more on sexually oriented cases and abuse directed at the most vulnerable groups in society: the youth, the elderly, and the disabled. The creator of the TV show, Dick Wolf, shared that the spin-off series came from his wanting to explore the psychological complexities behind the sexually motivated atrocities. And it so happened that the New York Police Department in real life had a special victims unit dedicated to investigating crimes of that nature. The working title was Sex Crimes, but it didn't sit right with some of the network executives, and it was suggested that it would be best if they patterned it to the real police force unit, hence the eventual title, Law & Order Special Victims Unit. The spin-off series premiered on the 20th of September 1999 with more than 18 million people watching it that night, and it garnered an average of over 12 million viewers in its first season. 2 decades later, it attained the distinction of being the longest-running US live-action series in the history of primetime TV, after its original series went off the air in 2010. It also became the only remaining drama series that had made its TV debut in the 1990s, and since when it's received more than 90 award nominations, winning more than 30 of them. In September 2022, it aired its 24th season as part of the 5-year deal that Dick Wolf signed with NBC Universal Content Studios in 2020. With the drama series focused on tackling serious crimes, SVU viewers never thought that they would become hooked on the slow-burn romantic tensions between two of its main leads, Mariska Hargitay as Olivia Benson and Christopher Maloney as Elliot Stabler. Both were detectives in the Special Victims Unit of the New York Police Department, but complications arose from the start. Because Elliot was already married with kids, here are some of the most significant moments of their relationship over the years. From the fans' point of view, the romantic tension between the two was evident from the start. However, no one knew if it was the writer's intention or if it was just how the fans wanted it to be. In the second episode of the first season entitled A Single Life, most viewers detected that Elliot gave her that meaningful stare, which signaled that he was into her that early on. At the time, Olivia felt that he was looking at her but not saying anything, which prompted her to ask, "What?" There was no flirting between the two, as they were just partners. It was just plain chemistry that started to tickle the imagination of the viewers. Having a protective partner when pursuing violent and unpredictable perpetrators is a bonus in their line of work. Elliot was such a partner when Olivia was being stalked by a man they were investigating. He would drop by her place unannounced early morning, saying he was just around the neighborhood. Olivia knew that he was looking out for her since Elliot lived far away in the suburbs. After work, he would drop her off and tell her to blink your lights when you get inside. She was getting a little irked as she was trained to protect herself. However, she didn't have a choice but to follow him. They knew he would stay inside his car until she gave him the signal. He was married, and she was free to date anyone she liked. One time, she went out on a date and slept with Detective Brian Cassidy, one of the detectives in the precinct. And it frustrated her afterwards as she broke her one rule of not dating anyone from work. Elliot asked her about it. Olivia initially denied it, but then asked if it was that obvious, declaring that it was just a one-time thing. She told Elliot that the guy asked her out again, and he said, "Can you blame him?" That was one loaded statement that SVU fans believed that Elliot meant he found her quite attractive. Over the seasons, the partners became close friends that they were able to drink in one cup without getting icky. Olivia found it easier to open up to him about her alcoholic, uncaring mother and her tragic past of being born out of rape. With that kind of childhood, she constantly doubted her capability to ever be a good and responsible mother. It was Elliot who encouraged her to believe in herself They reached the level of friendship in which they could argue regarding a case without forgetting that they were friends. In the 6th season, when Elliot's wife left him and filed for divorce, it affected the way he handled their investigation, but Olivia stood by him. She could make a tense situation lighter so that he wouldn't feel burdened. He said that his work made it difficult for his wife to live with him, to which Olivia replied, "She should try working with you." In a later season, Elliot reconciled with his wife and had another baby from a one-night stand they had when they were separated, which frustrated many fans of the drama series. There were 3 episodes in the 7th season that became fan favorites of SVU viewers, who continued to ship the 2 characters. It started with the 19th episode, which was aptly entitled Fault, when the 2 realized that they would choose each other over the vows they swore to uphold as cops. When their lives were on the line, they chose to save each other instead of apprehending the criminal. Elliot said that it couldn't happen again, because if it did, they could no longer be partners. Olivia was hurt, and the episode ended with her asking their boss for another partner. In episode 20, they experienced what it would be like without each other, and Elliot couldn't adjust well. He even punched his new partner in the face and would often visit his former partner in her new office in the computer crimes division, even asking her for help during the interrogation, which he knew she wouldn't be able to resist. By the 21st episode, Olivia was back at her old desk. Elliot couldn't believe his luck that she was back in his life. In one of the episodes in season 11, Elliot didn't blink twice when he mortgaged his home for $250,000 just to bail Olivia from jail. She became the top suspect in a murder case that was handled by the Internal Affairs Bureau. Olivia was shocked at what Elliot did, but he told her he wouldn't want her getting shanked at Rikers Island, where NYC's main jail complex was located. She inquired if his wife knew about it, but he simply said, "Well, it's not a risk. You're innocent." In 2013, fans were devastated when they watched Elliot leave SVU without telling Olivia. Viewers never had the chance to see the 2 say their proper goodbyes. In fact, the TV show never showed him again, and it was heartbreaking for her to learn about his resignation from Captain Cragen. The captain informed her that Elliot had quit and he couldn't do anything to stop it. She just said, "He's earned it," and then proceeded to an empty interrogation room and broke down in tears. Everyone was left hanging, without any explanation as to the reason why he left, and so the fans could easily relate to what Olivia felt at that time. It took the executive producers about 10 years to hold a reunion that every SVU fan fervently wished for over the years. Christopher Maloney announced that he would return to the Law Order universe to reprise the role of Elliot Stabler with the new spin-off series called Law Order Organized Crime. While he would no longer be Olivia's partner as he joined another task force, the Organized Crime Control Bureau, fans were ecstatic about the possibilities of crossovers between shows. Sure enough, the showrunners didn't waste time in having the 2 together again in a series of crossover episodes. The 9th episode in season 22 featured the highly anticipated reunion of Elliot and Olivia. It was the night when she was to receive an award, and on her way to the event, she saw Elliot's wife Kathy injured on a stretcher and being loaded into an ambulance. Then she heard someone call her name, and the world of all the Olivia-Elliot shippers came to a standstill. After 10 years, they saw each other once again, and it was kind of surreal for Olivia. Apparently, Elliot and his family lived in Rome after he left SVU, and he was in a town for a meeting with the Organized Crime Task Force, and another detective, Finn, informed Elliot that Olivia was to be honored that night. They were there to attend the dinner when their rental car exploded. The episode was laced with tension and undercurrents between the 2, as Olivia and her team helped in solving what had happened to Kathy. When they had a confrontation scene on how he left her without a word, social media went buzzing. Unforgettable lines were spewed out between the 2. Olivia told him, "You were the single most important person in my life, and you just disappeared." To which Elliot replied, "I know. I was afraid if I heard your voice, I wouldn't be able to leave." Elliot's wife didn't survive her injuries, and after the funeral, he gave a letter to Olivia. For quite some time, viewers weren't privy to what was written on it, but everyone knew that she was heartbroken when she read the letter. Finally, in one of the crossover episodes between the 2 spin-off series, contents of the letter were revealed. Unexpectedly, Elliot appeared on Olivia's doorstep quite stoned as a result of his undercover stint with the Albanian mob. Olivia wanted to call it in as part of NYPD's standard operating procedure on cops who were drugged, but he wanted to talk about the letter. He confessed that he wasn't the one who wrote it, it was Kathy who dictated it. Olivia was surprised as she rattled on some parts written in it, such as, "That what we were to each other was never real." If that wasn't heartbreaking enough, the other line would do it for anyone who was following the story, that we got in the way of each other being who and where we needed to be. Obviously, she memorized the content of the letter by heart. Elliot said that the last line was his own words, but in a parallel universe, it'll always be you and I. Apparently, he slipped it in before the letter was sealed. In the premiere episode of the spin-off series Law Order Organized Crime, Olivia did a crossover. Elliot's children asked for her help to intervene with their father, as following his wife's death, he was spiraling down. Olivia immediately went to his apartment to talk to him about his erratic behavior. During the emotional conversation they had in front of his children, when she asked him what he needed, Elliot blurted out the words, "I love you." Olivia was shocked, and even before anyone could react to it, Elliot followed it by telling everyone that he loved them all. While the fans knew that he wasn't in a good place when he uttered those words, it was a giant step to fixing whatever type of relationship they had at that time. The slow burn love story between Olivia Benson and Elliot Stabler, fondly called Bensler by their fans, captivated SVU viewers for decades. While no happy ending was promised by the writers of the show, the recent narrative being played out between the two gave hope to fans that what they'd been waiting for since 1999 would happen soon. Both had a hard time adjusting to their new situation after being separated for 10 years, but were willing to make it work. In one of the crossover episodes, they had a confrontation. Olivia told him that what had happened after he came back into her life after the 10-year radio silence was just a one-way street and was quite unfair to her. She couldn't understand why he gave her that letter that he didn't write, and why he never asked her about what happened in her life when he was gone. Elliot simply said, "I'm not sure. I guess I didn't know how to begin." She replied, "That makes two of us." Elliot promised that he would find a balance in their situation. They both knew that what they were to each other was complicated, so for the time being they agreed to call it a friendship. Elliot would often call her my friend Olivia as if it meant something else. He invited her and her son Noah to have Christmas dinner with his family, but Olivia never showed up. Elliot wanted to meet her son, but she said that they needed to wait, since he went undercover again and Noah could easily get attached. However, fate intervened, and they met when he was buying flowers for his mother, while Olivia and Noah were walking on the same street. When Elliot introduced himself to Noah, the little boy said he already knew who he was. During the final episode of the 23rd season of SVU, Olivia finally admitted to a friend, and the thing is that I didn't have a right or a claim. He's somebody else's husband. She's having a hard time now that Elliot's wife isn't there anymore, because it would be paralyzing to know the consequences of the possibilities between them, especially if it didn't work out. Elliot, on the other hand, just admitted to a former partner in Rome that he's in love with someone. That made all the fans excited for the next seasons of SVU and Organized Crime. Thank you for spending some time with us. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. We also handpicked these videos which we recommend you watch next. You can talk to us on all social medias or ask a question in the comments below. Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you back tomorrow.